2 minutes. Okay, sterilize your phone, cause you know they can come through the phone. That'll be the next thing that people gonna say.
Yeah.
I've been talking to her and I haven't got me yet, so.
There you go.
Now I said that, I probably just jinxed myself.
Yeah, there you go. Well, earlier this week, I saw that Illinois has no counties in a high case.
That's good.
So,
I got mine when I was in Utah, so.
I got mine last fall when my son brought it to me from school.
That's nice of him.
Poor Davis, blaming him.
That's what happens when you have kids, they bring all the germs home.
You know,
Isn't it nice when your children share with you?
I did it right before I was on vacation too, so I didn't even get any time off work. I just had to take my vacation at home, so.
That stinks.
Yeah.
Oh, that was like you.
I'm waiting my baby's there. And I was sick, yeah.
Could we all rise, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
Okay, roll call, and Eileen Blade is not here tonight, but we got her on the phone, she has COVID, so, roll call.
Tom,
Here.
Eileen. April,
Here.
Max.
Here.
Sherry is absent. Justin.
Here.
And Tony.
Here. Approval of minutes, of payments of bills, $513,251.39, and transfer of $8,000 electrical bond funds. Need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the payment of bills and the transfer of electric bond funds, bills in the amount of $513,251.39, bonds in the amount of $8,000.
I'll second it.
Eileen. Yes. April,
Yes.
Max,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Approval of minutes, September 12th, 2022, regular and executive session minutes. Need a motion, please.
I'll motion to approve the regular and executive session minutes from September 12th, 2022. I'll second.
Eileen.
Yes.
April,
Yes.
Max,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Approval of September 2022 clerk's report and August 2022 treasurer's report. Need a motion, please?
I'll make the motion of approval of September 2022 clerk's report and August 2022 treasurer's report.
Second.
Eileen.
Yes.
April,
Yes.
Max,
Yes.
Sherry, absent. Justin,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Okay,
I'll give
public,
Eileen a chance, sir.
public comment? Anybody like to speak?
I just want to make sure that, I understand that when the crops are out and it freezes, then we're gonna still take care of the ditch, right?
Is that correct, Lyle?
Yeah, I mean, there is some question with the county. I haven't talked to them since Tony and I went and talked to them. There is a mutual aid, there is a memorandum of understanding between us and the county. The county is responsible for that entire ditch as far as keeping it clear. I mean, yeah, the biggest thing is getting the crops out. and then
Yeah,
we
and
can
I
move
understand
forward.
that. I just wanna make sure that, you know,
I think Joe's got a copy of that memorandum or agreement that they were responsible for, and we're
Well-
responsible for the ditch about subdivision. They're
So-
responsible for the main ditch.
I mean, are you guys working with the county or?
We need to get back with them since that agreement's come up.
Okay,
So
I
that's our
guess-
next step.
okay, the next question would be, do we need to, as our residents, need to go to the county board or?
Not yet.
Okay, that's it.
Is that it? Anybody else got anything you want to say?
Yeah, have you decided anything about the ambulance and the money from the gaming places?
We're gonna talk about that tonight.
Okay,
So that's all I can tell you, because we got a committee set up, and they've been working with them, with the fire department, so.
Not a committee.
No, not a committee, not a committee. So,
Still working on it.
So anybody else? Okay, we'll move on. Okay, we got a lady here wanting the sidewalk at 300 West Pleasant Street.
That'd be
Is
me.
that you, ma'am?
You seem to know who I was, I must be the familiar one. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I see you go in your house when I drive by, so.
That sidewalk there is lower than the street.
Mhm.
I have a great niece and nephew who catch the bus there, and when it rains or when snow comes, it just floods there. And, there was a couple of you out there today, I think, that walked it,
Yeah,
you could
we
tell
was
just
walking.
walking it,
Yeah,
that it's unlevel, and I just wanna get it leveled. Cause there's kids there in the neighborhood, like I say, I've got two that get to school there, that's the safest place for that bus to stop as opposed to having to pull around, especially in the wintertime. Cause in the morning, that intersection there is extremely busy.
mhm.
And I get why the bus wants to stop there, but I also don't think it's right to have two little kids have to get all wet before they get to school, and shoes and socks too. And I called a few times, but I didn't know I had to get on an agenda, nobody told me that. In fact, I talked to one man, and he told me I was on a list at one juncture.
Is that on the north side or the south side?
It's on the north side,
Okay.
right there at the corner of that, house on the corner, the big house.
Where do you live?
I live at 300 West Pleasant.
Okay,
So-
yeah, I was out there and looked at it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right across from Janice and them. Like I say, I just want to, I don't know what needs to be done, if I need to pay for a portion of it or whatever,
Yeah.
but I just like to see it get fixed. And I found out from the gentleman, cause he just redid the sidewalk down there, and that's how I went to one of them and said, yeah, you gotta get on the agenda. I was like, what agenda? Well, that's why I'm here.
Well, did you talk to Brent today?
I did.
And get an estimate on that?
So it's roughly about 200 feet of sidewalk from the corner, to the driveway, to the, I guess it'd be the east side of the driveway. Total cost would be roughly between 5,500 and 6,000 to replace that 200-foot stretch of sidewalk.
And that's with concrete and everything,
That's
correct?
concrete, labor, the whole 9 yards.
How's our weather gonna hold out, any idea? Did Brent say, or, you don't know, okay, I didn't know Brent.
So would somebody like to make a motion on that? This is something that really needs to be done, or?
One of my concerns is, as she said, if water is standing on that sidewalk, one of the concerns is that if we raise that sidewalk, it's gonna create a dam and force water back toward her house. So one of the things I think we do need to look at before we decide for sure is make sure that we're not gonna create an additional problem by forcing, or not allowing the water to drain away from her house. Because that's an even bigger issue.
So we have a couple of items sitting there too, got that green box, I don't know what that box is. But, there's also, they just put that new, cable T3 stuff there as well, right there in that corner. There's a couple of different things sitting there as well, so I understand the concern.
Well, and we don't wanna cause you a bigger problem.
I don't want you to, so. I don't want you to.
Well, why don't we have utility department check the elevation on that and get back to us?
Right.
Like I said, we don't wanna create a bigger problem with water drain off the lot. And put it on the agenda for next month.
Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir, that'd be fine, I appreciate the help.
And I did talk to Brent, he said he's got plenty of time coming up, until it turns cold.
Right. Okay. We'll put that on next month. Susie? Bowman.
That's me.
Yes, ma'am.
So I had only given a 5-minute elevator speech at the last meeting and was told to come back. And so in the meantime, I got information from multiple board members saying that you had interest in these items. Okay. Aline, I put yours at your chair.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Susie.
So what I had done was anything that a board member suggested, I followed up on it just as a volunteer. So one of the things that was suggested was that we do something with recycling. Ally, can you hear me?
I sure can.
And so, I called Neoga because someone said Neoga has recycling, but they really don't. They used to through Howard's, but Howard's machinery that it takes to recycle broke down. So they no longer have a system at all. And they want to know if Greenup comes up with something, if we'll share. So that went the wrong way. City of Charleston, I called, they use independent companies from different recycling, systems. So, they can give us ideas of companies who can set up a recycling, you know, just like our Whites. And I don't know if there's ever been a conversation with Whites about what they could or would do for the village, but that's one method that's being used out there for smaller villages. There's recycling awareness programs out there through the feds and the state, awareness. So that's not gonna get us anything material done, but it would, you know, if we're on the road to recycling and we heighten the community awareness and more people start to care, you get more interest and you pick up speed and we might get ourselves to a grant. So we can get programs like that. Cumberland Grade School, Daniel Huffman used to collect Walmart bags, and so we're gonna start small and do that. But that partnership is dissolved because the manager at Walmart changed and the new managers won't do it. So that's no longer an option. So that's what we found on recycling, and these things are not in priority order, they're just, you know, where somebody mentioned them to me. And this is what I found on the topic. So what I'm asking tonight is, you know, is if there is any interest on any of it, that you want more follow-up, if there's no interest on any at all. So B is sidewalks, and I was kind of looking for $150,000. Evanston, Illinois did an improvement program style where the residents paid by square foot in front of their house to get the sidewalk up to par, or they said they could have done a 50-50 improvement drive or a rebate method, but that's how they did it. USD, the rest of them, 1 through 3 are grants that you can get for sidewalks. That's what I found for sidewalks. Item C for park. I had in 5 minutes, there was so little discussion, I don't really know what you want to do with the park. Because I found, there was grants for lighting, better lighting at the park, building a skate park, buying more acreage, but they were all specific. So I need to know what your burning desire is for the park. Porches, Landmarks, Illinois, I talked to the, correspondent there, and she was really enthused that Greenup, Illinois wanted to do something. She said, how can you name me Greenup and you don't have anything going for recycling or tourism or something? I said, I don't know, maybe we'll change it to Brownup or something, I don't know. So she was really interested, and so she gave me a whole lot of ideas, and she was gonna talk to people, and have them call us back in a couple weeks. And they have a couple grants, but they're due October 1, but she said if we actually show enough interest that we want to apply for their money, that she'll extend the deadline for us to get in.
Great.
Now, they're small potatoes, $500 to $5,000 against our $150,000 that we want, but it's a start. And we can do a little to sustain us till we get the big kahuna. So the rest of those are just 1 through 6 are names of different funding sources that have something that we could use. I just need to know if there's any interest. And the porches got real sticky because, you know, they say, do you own them? I didn't know that answer, but I said, I don't think so. I don't think the village owns the porches.
Nope.
But individuals. So then they sent me off on a track to the residential portion of their program where the village could write an application for a grant for X amount of dollars, and then the residents would fill out applications to apply for grant money from the village to fix their particular. And there's all kinds of programs to educate the owners. There's pop-up businesses that they have programs that you can go and recruit people to train the owners of those buildings for how you bring businesses in, there's tourism. You know, one thing leads to another, and then pretty soon you're really spread too thin. So what I need from all this is word from the board. Do you wanna pursue anything, nothing? So, you can let me
Well, I
know.
think we ought to pursue the sidewalks, the park, and the porches, definitely.
There's only one of me.
Yeah, I know, but that's, I don't know
So,
what priority we wanna do that in.
yeah. So that's what I found in, short order from last time we met and I talked to you.
We don't want much, do we? Want everything, we want all the
Yeah,
things.
there's a lot out there.
We
and
want
that's
all
the-
the things.
And honestly, we are, already labeled rural by the census, so that gives us a lot of points on these grants. And we're labeled, did I put down there, by HUD, they label us something that is, something district, it means we're needy.
Yeah, we're below the poverty
We're gonna
line.
get points, we're gonna get points for being in a depressed, blah, blah, blah.
We don't live in poverty.
Yeah, that's good in this case, that's good in this case, for HUD money, but it's federal.
Yeah.
So there's also, somebody told me that there's a federal, for municipalities, you can only have one federal grant per year. I did not realize that, and everybody that I talked to said they did not believe that to be true for their money, but it depends on who you talk to. So, that's my spiel.
How do we find that out for sure?
It depends on the grant you choose. Like
Okay.
if you choose porches, it
Okay,
would go
gotcha.
with USDA, or
Okay,
if you go
gotcha.
with DHS, or Housing and Urban Development, yeah.
So Susan, you're willing to write these grants for us?
I am. The money comes in, so, I do things for a fee. So you decide what task you want, and then I put hours to it that I'm gonna spend, like to get money for, to get $150,000 for the porches would require X amount of hours, and it would cost this much.
I see.
So until your task is accomplished, I don't get any money. Or we would do degrees of growth. You know, once we'll put it on milestones, which, you know, you would put together your requirements for me. You have to accomplish this before you get this. And the total amount at the end is this. All that is set by you guys.
Okay.
I'm basically a digger, and, yeah, until I dig something up and give it to you. So you can let me know.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we need to vote on consideration and motion to approve Susie Beaumont to do grant writing for the village of Greenup. Do I have a motion?
I would make a motion
Uh,
to,
we have some
Susie
discussion.
Beaumont to do grant writing.
Hang on, Ellen, we're
Hold
gonna
on,
discuss this.
Ellen.
Now, wait till I get my second, then we can have
Sorry.
a discussion.
Well, I thought we did the discussion before we did
That's
the.
not what John,
Oh, okay.
John
No,
voted.
discussion is after the motion, you're right,
Okay.
Tom.
I'll second.
Max seconded it.
So I guess my concern is this is a pretty broad, motion. This doesn't really talk with any specificity about what we're doing at all. And the offerings are pretty broad. There's not really any direction that this is going. And I think for the village to do this, we have to have a plan. I don't think that just writing a blank check to do whatever is desired is a good way to handle it. I think that we need to have a plan and say, you know, we wanna pursue this grant for this purpose, and this is the goal for that money. I don't think you wanna go into it by saying, yeah, we wanna write every grant we can for anything we can.
I think the board would be directing what she would go after, it'd be from our direction.
Yeah.
Is that correct, Susie?
Yeah, so what happens is, you would send me a request, we want, for this amount of money, we want this accomplished. Whatever your consensus is after you all talk, you'll decide a priority, and you'll decide how long you want that priority to take, and can you arrive at the conclusion by this deadline for this price. There'll be a lot of,
And then wouldn't that be when the motion would be taken, not before we know anything?
Well, I think what she's looking at, and what some of us others are thinking, is it would be the sidewalks would fall under the street and alley committee, would make recommendations as to what they want to go after. Parks and porches would fall under Parks and Buildings Committee, and that committee would
Yeah, I
provide her with what we want to look at.
I think what
I
we're,
understand that, but
And then
we
she would
should
bring
bring a
it back
motion.
to us.
Yeah,
I
going
think the
forward.
vote is to hire her as a grant writer, but direct her on what we want. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, you are, yes, you
Yeah.
are.
that's my understanding of
But
it.
we wouldn't need a motion to do that, we would approve each individual one as it came up, so there's no
Right.
need for a motion on this, so it's a motion on something that doesn't really do anything.
You just putting her on staff though to do it, though, I mean.
But she's not on staff, she's not an employee, she'd be an independent
Should
contractor.
be, exactly. And that was gonna be my next question is, Susie, are you an independent contractor? Do you know, for
I'm a
doing this?
I'm a consultant,
Yeah,
You're our licensed consultant.
not
mean,
licensed.
Like, you have a business, like a FEIN number
I
or
do
anything
not.
like that?
I do not, no.
Okay, that's, something that one of the unemployment security kind of, when we were audited a couple of
Yes.
months ago, cautioned us on,
Yep.
was working with,
you also need
So-
W-9s on anybody
Yes.
before you employ them, there's a lot of things that you have to do before you hire somebody.
Yes.
And I don't think we're there yet, I think it's fine if the board wants to explore some of these projects, but have an idea of what we wanna approach before we take a motion on it, is my opinion.
Would you be interested in getting the FEIN number?
This young lady just gave me the information that it's
I
very
have it through my
small.
business, it's not hard at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Couple hours.
yeah. I'm just retired after 40 years of writing grants. I worked for Amber River Basin Agency under their theme, so I never
Gotcha.
needed it.
Yeah.
And, you know, this is just one of those things that I walk my dog and I think the city needs stuff.
Yeah.
So
when
as
you
it
walk
grows.
your dog and Patty Porter says, hey, I
Yeah.
So we need to revisit
I-
this after,
To me, we'd have to have a plan, and then we would vote on each individual thing, so, I mean, voting on, we're gonna vote later, that doesn't make much sense to me, I just don't understand.
What do you guys wanna do?
I think you guys should sit down and decide if you wanna do it by your committees, each committees, you know, go through these and look at what we need to look at, what, you know, what we want per those committees and get back, and everybody then bring it all together and decide what we want to work on, or, you know, what's major, you know, what's something that's just a want versus things that we need.
Yeah.
You know, and we should find out.
And maybe she'll have her number by that time.
Exactly.
if
Sure.
she's
So we need
wanting to do
rescind the
that.
motion, right?
So I can withdraw my motion.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I will do that.
Max, you withdraw your second, did you second that?
I think if she withdraws it, it's good, it's covered.
Additional.
And well, and then the committee will meet.
Meet with Susie.
Yeah.
Jill, is there anything else besides being number while I'm about my task? Just
yep,
asking.
that would be it.
Okay.
That's all, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next, the Halloween Christmas Committee requested purchase of a large tree for the municipal building lawn. Holiday displays, Miss Dawn, village purchase, holiday display. Deanne, Patty.
I don't have any, I don't have any papers.
We have some in your hand there, I'm just saying.
I'm just gonna stand here behind her because she knows it all.
Do you know it all, Dee?
I don't know it all, but. I have the pictures.
Oh, looky there,
I'll
she
get
has
a picture
pictures.
through. Justin, see this?
We have a picture display.
Wouldn't that be pretty, all decorated?
Is that 3 foot tall, or is that 8 foot tall?
Make sure you read it out what you want and then share it with me too. There you go.
I said she knows it all.
You said the wrong spot, so I'm sorry.
Okay. So, last year, we started the Greenup Volunteer Committee, and we started out with a Halloween celebration, which is going to be this year, we're going to do trick or treat on October 29th with the village. And then on Saturday night, the 29th of October, will be our actual Halloween celebration.
So trick or treat's on the 28th.
And
not
trick or
29th.
treat, huh?
28th.
28th and
Okay.
29th, yes, trunk or treat's 28th and Halloween celebrations the 29th. And then on December 10th, we have, what we're gonna be calling Christmas in the Village, because we wanna put a play on our porches, our old fashioned, kind of Christmas. And last year it was a huge success. We gave out some free food and hot dogs. We had a lighted parade, a small parade. And, one thing that we kind of noticed was when people came back from the parade, they were kind of like, well, what do we do now? So this year what we are proposing is if we could get permission from the village to actually put a nice decorated Christmas tree in front of it, to have a Christmas tree lighting, right after the parade. And, we have already talked to the high school. They would love to have their chorus come out and sing a few Christmas carols for maybe 15 or 20 minutes. And then that would lead on into the celebration inside where all the kids get to visit with Santa and do the cookies, decorating, the crafts, the gifts, and then there's some free food. So to expand upon it too, this year we have a food trucks, because last year we had such a big crowd for the Christmas one that people were kind of discouraged, thinking, oh no, there won't be enough free food, which is just chili, hot dogs, and chips and things like that, and cookies. So we will have a couple food trucks out front too to kind of help with that overflow of people. So what we're proposing though is, I did a little research. First we thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have a great big lighted tree that you can put up? Well, the reality is those are like anywhere from $16,000 to $20,000, and I think that's a little crazy. So, but what we're promoting is just to maybe either to plant a tree a little bit bigger than the little ones that we have out there, and have it as a permanent thing that we can decorate each year and maintain. Or if you don't like that idea of having a permanent Christmas tree out there, just going to have a Christmas tree cut down and put it up just for that season. So I have a couple quotes for you. I even had a phone call at the last minute to more of a local person that does Christmas trees, and their name is Keller Tree Farm. They're south of Toledo, and she said that she has only had 3 big trees. She sold 2 of them to Yoga the last 2 years, but she has 1 live tree left. But on the live tree, she says they don't have trees for us to dig up and plant or anything. They're just retired people out of Decatur that just kind of do that on the side. So the 2 people that I talked to for the live trees was Dainty Tree Farm, which is on the other side of Martinsville, between Martinsville and Marshall. And she gave me kind of a rough estimate of a live tree.
Is that a planted one or just, okay.
Okay. And the live tree, if you notice a tree that you cut down and put up is anywhere from 15 feet to 20 foot. She gave, so it's anywhere from $217.50 up to a big 20-foot tree, which is $290. Or if you bought a tree, the biggest for trees are that you replant, that you are just up to 7-8 feet, and those are $260. Now, there is a gentleman called Brock Fries. He's a principal over at Stu Strauss High School. He actually has a tree farm in Mode, and he actually had a friend that he called for us as he knew we were meeting tonight, that if we wanted a 12 to 13 foot Canaan fir, he said Canaan fir is probably going to be your best one that he would recommend as a tree farm, because they keep their shape, they last longer, lots of different reasons. You're welcome to call them. But he said for a big 12 to 13 foot one, it'd be $250 for the tree if we would go pick it up ourselves, and it'd be all ready for us to plant. Or if we wanted him to deliver it, plant it, and do the mulching, it's $500 total. If you wanted to go smaller, like a 9-foot Canaan fir, it'd be $185 for the tree, plus $185 for delivery, planting, and mulching, and that's $370 total. So, so those are kind of our things. We're trying to make memories for the kids, new traditions with this new generation. We want to give them, a reason to stay around Greenup, you know. They're our future, so that's kind of our idea. So a second idea we had too was we noticed in a lot of other communities that the lighted displays, I mean, you're not gonna be a more beautiful downtown area than Greenup at Christmas with all of our Village of Porches decorated. But we're looking now at maybe the municipal building area, maybe either the village consider purchasing, I'll throw this out there too, I'm asking everything. Maybe purchasing our own display that lights up, or the second thought was seeking some of our local businesses to maybe get a display, kind of like maybe Peterson Park and Mattoon, and then putting a sign in front saying, sponsored by, Scott's Building Center, sponsored by Babco, sponsored by First Neighbor Bank. Some of those that we would need permission, if you like that idea, to have them put that on the grounds and, plug in, the electricity part of it too. So those are kind of the three different things we're asking. Would you allow us to have a Christmas tree to do Christmas tree lighting? And if so, would you guys agree to purchase one, either a live one or one that's been cut already? Second thing is, would the village consider getting a lighted display? And hopefully with the old-fashioned Christmas thing kind of in mind. And then the third thing would be, could we solicit businesses in town to put a lighted Christmas display? That would have to meet everybody's approval first. I'm not talking inflatables. Somebody mentioned inflatables to me and I said no. I love the inflatables at home, but it's not what we're looking for.
Quick question. On the quotes for the live trees, it says if we plant the tree, there is a warranty till June. I'm assuming that's if the company plants it.
Yes.
Yeah, now I did ask about when is the best time to plant a tree, and they said fall or spring, you can plant it, but they do recommend fall. Because if you plant the tree in fall, you're gonna get all the rains from the fall and winter, and you're gonna get all those spring rains. He says a lot of times when people plant them in the spring, they'll wait till like May or something, and by then you miss all the spring rains that your tree needs. Because once you plant your tree, it takes about 3 years for your tree to say, okay, I found my home again. And then, because they won't start growing until about 3 years after you plant it.
I'd really like for you to get an estimate from Verdines, since they planted the trees in the municipal building lot for free.
I know Hayden's did 20 Eastern White Pines for me last fall, and they were considerably cheaper. But
So I'd like for you,
How big
I'd
is it?
like for more
6 foot.
local businesses to be consulted too.
Yeah, and I had talked to somebody at Hayden's when I called, and they couldn't get much bigger than like a live one. And that's what most of the places, they can't get them unless they're 6 to 8 feet tall. So I have a picture there of a gentleman next to a tree that's pretty close to 9 feet tall, just for reference. So you can see what that would look like, so.
April, did you try to call Verdines or? you
I
tried-
didn't get an answer.
Didn't get nothing?
I didn't get an answer.
Yeah, and that's up to, it really, it's up to the board where you get the like tree. You just, tonight, really, all you need to vote on is, yes, we would allow a tree, and yes, we could plant one, and you guys can figure out who you want to get it from. That's just a couple quotes to kind of tell you, kind of what the price range is gonna be.
I'd definitely be in favor of a live tree or one that's cut.
Yeah,
But we need to do one this to get it planted.
yeah.
We need to plant it this month in October.
Right.
And they tell me in November you can plant it too, but I'm guessing I would think earlier too.
mine was the second week of November last year that I had all mine planted.
But Dan, you contacted Hayden's out there and they couldn't get a bigger tree.
They said usually the biggest they can get 6 to 8 foot.
So, what's everybody want to do?
I'll be in favor of a live tree, but at the same time, it'd be nice to have a price from Verdines, And if they come in at a similar price, I'd say go ahead and get it, but, we need to, maybe, if the board approves it and the committee decides, have a select committee to decide which one to go with. I don't care.
Parks and Building Committee. We could do a Parks and Building Committee, they could, cause it's on the municipal lawn, so we could have a building committee meeting.
I like the bigger tree,
Yeah, I do too.
but I think, and Verdines did donate a tree to us. and
Yeah.
no charge.
So we need to contact Bird Eye, I'm assuming. See what they can
And
do.
see when they can put it in.
Yeah.
Well,
And if they can even get one that big.
and that's something Sue could plan.
Yeah, but it won't have no warranty to it.
Yeah, I think we need to have a plan of somebody that is gonna warranty the.
Yeah.
Patty warranties already.
That's
Yeah,
right.
She warranted her work.
I've only had 3 trees die on me since I've been here.
Okay, well, that's a vote of confidence. I'm just kidding.
Make you feel better already.
So where do we wanna leave this then?
So do we need to have a motion to do it and then let the committee decide where it's gonna come from?
Yeah, you could do that.
If that's what you want.
Yeah, if that's what you wanna do.
Now, is this gonna be a motion for a permanent tree?
Yes.
Yes.
I would make a motion that the village have a 12 to 13 foot tree planted. And the park and building committee will determine where it will come from.
I'll second that motion.
Dan, can you call Bird Eye to see what they
I
say?
can call Bernines too. The second part of that tree request too is, I didn't know if we had any lights to put, if the village had extra lights.
Check into that.
And you guys could check into that and provide the lighting
Mike's saying
too.
no.
And if we need, to- our committee could buy the star from the top.
Well, they all were donated out.
Oh, you already got rid of it?
Yeah, I already
I'm
got
sure
it.
Our hopes is for the community to bring maybe some ornaments if it's big enough, and hopefully do like a memory tree too, in memory of someone you left or whatever. So I know my first person will be my mom, you gave me the Christmas, but that I lost 2 years ago in October.
I'm sure we can come up with some lights, Dan, out of our sheds.
You got extra lights?
I'm sure we do, Tony.
I thought you'd bought out.
Well, I think we've got
You
Christmas
probably
lights
went, you probably
upstairs
went to
too.
commercial grade, something to match what the village porches are, I would assume.
I'll second Mike's motion to purchase the tree.
People already did.
Already done?
Okay, Ally,
Yes.
April,
Yes.
Max,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
and Tony.
Yes.
You have to vote to let businesses set up on the lawn weekends.
You
Yeah,
probably should.
we should,
It's on
yeah.
there.
I'll make a motion to, allow businesses or churches, whoever would like to set
Yes.
up a display on the municipal lawn for Christmas.
I'll second.
What about if individuals wanna sponsor one?
Yes,
Absolutely, yes.
absolutely.
Anybody.
Anyone.
Anyone.
Well, she might wanna amend her motion then.
Really, Ally.
Committed to,
Include individuals.
Include individuals.
Eileen, are you being difficult?
I am.
I hear ya.
Ally,
Yes.
April,
Yes.
Max,
Yes.
Justin,
Yes.
Tony.
Yes.
Okay, it's also on here, consideration of motion to purchase a holiday display for the municipal building lawn.
I hope so, 'cause it was sick last.
Hey, we're asking, hey, we're here, we'll ask.
Yeah, we ain't got no problem asking.
I don't know,
Go
since
back.
we're
I
gonna
will tell
purchase the
you,
tree, yeah.
Jill, it just depends on how much you wanna spend. Jill knows that. A lot of the good ones are anywhere, I mean, you're talking 1,000 to 2,000 and maybe even up to 5,000.
Maybe we ought to look in that a little deeper for
Maybe
next
have your
year.
parks
Yeah.
and whatever committee look at it.
Yeah,
But you know, on this display, I have a lot of people that like to have pictures taken at the Santa Claus house. And Sarah Bush has some wonderful displays, and I have no idea how much they are, I don't really care. But they just make wonderful pictures, and I think, you know, that'd be nice for us to have a pictureless display for people to take pictures at.
okay. Thank you, ladies. Okay, consideration of motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel, appointment, employment, compensation, benefits, and performance of statistic employees of the public body, section 2C1 and litigation, section 2C11 of the Open Meetings Act.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Alan?
Yes.
April?
Yes.
Max?
Yes.
Sherry is not here, Justin?
Yes.
And Tony?
Yes.
I can't believe that was about it.
Yeah, we gotta get the hourly wage first.
Let Kate do that.
Now, it's like, I didn't recognize, I'm like, who is that? Now I know who you are. I was like,
I colored my hair back to the original color.
oh, that's, yes, cause you're blonde. That's what it is, gotcha. I was like, her.
Bring, viewing materials for?
Well, it seems like I've got time to watch Elvis.
Justin, we are not watching the movie tonight, just so
Is
you
that when I
know.
sit over here? Is that
Yeah,
what
it's on HBO for free a couple weeks ago.
And no action was taken in the executive session
We have to,
and roll call.
Tom?
Here.
Alleen? April?
here,
Max?
Here.
Justin?
Here.
Tony?
it's 18.
Okay, consideration of a motion to hire an
Wait
18.
for-
Need to wait for
Yeah, we
him.
do.
Oh, Tony's left, oh.
Is he can have to wait a call or something, probably?
I think he went back in.
Oh, come on, people. We ain't got all
Other people use their bathroom breaks accordingly during the session, right?
You know, I know when to go and when not to go, I'm just saying.
Usually right when the door closes, she's.
This is the running joke, it is, because I'm always like, last month I made it without going once.
Good.
So proud.
I know, right?
Tony's age, it must be.
Well, when you get older, that's what happens, I'm just saying. Is he been in the restroom?
No, he went outside.
No, he went-
Oh, so he's on a call, so he's on a call.
Oh, Ethan's on the call?
He was that even though, so.
No. Consideration of a motion to hire $18 per hour part-time police officers. Three police officers, part-timers.
We gotta do each
We got
separately.
each individual one.
Consideration
hire-
of a motion to hire who
There you
at
go.
a part-time?
There you go. First one's Rodney Redford.
I would like to make a motion to hire Rodney Redfern as a part-time police officer at an hourly rate of $18 per hour.
I'll second that motion. Billy, have you been around Abilene?
She coughed in her shirt, did you notice?
Alleen?
Yes.
April?
Yes.
Max?
Yes.
Jerry's not here. Justin?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
And the next one is Daniel Hanley.
I'd like to make a motion to consider hiring Daniel Hanley as a part-time police officer at an hourly rate of $18 per hour.
I'll second that.
Alleen?
Yes.
April?
Yes.
Max?
Yes.
Justin?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
And the third one is Ian Casemeyer.
Ian?
Casemeyer.
I'd like to make a motion to hire Ian Casemeyer as a part-time police officer at an hourly rate of $18 per hour.
I'll second that motion.
Alleen?
Yes.
April?
Yes.
Max?
Yes.
Justin?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
We can all come up with the same result. All three got hired. That's my case. Okay, Special
Okay,
Interest
Thomas.
Committee, review of committee meeting held on September 16th, 2022.
Alleen?
We asked for, recommendations from 3 different people, for pricing and stuff, and we're still waiting on them to get back to us with, current things. We've got a couple that our, current insurer has not gotten back to us yet.
Thank you, Alan.
You're welcome.
Okay, did the attorney have anything to report? Village Clerk, do you have it?
Of course she does, she always does.
No, I have nothing.
I don't look at them, they're all
What?
on your chest.
No, I have nothing.
Village Treasurer,
No, I don't.
Superintendent of Utilities.
Just a couple things. I did pass out the work order report. These are all the work orders that have been closed since the last time we met on the 12th of September, and then any open work orders that we have. Okay, the text size is so that you can't get too far into my business. How's that, April?
I'm gonna give you more.
I'll work on that. But again, this doesn't cover all the typical daily operations that we do, so
These are the reactionary things.
Exactly.
Thank you for giving us this every month, it's helpful.
Can we buy magnifying glasses for some folks?
I have a magnifying glass.
And you just put it around your.
No, I don't wanna break the bank.
I could use a miner's helmet or, you know.
One of the other things, I know at the last meeting that we had, there was some discussion, or there was supposed to be some discussion regarding, sanitary sewer backups in the basements and that type of thing. I did get a hold of one of our, suppliers and got some prices on backflow preventers and all the parts and pieces. So for basically a 4-inch sewer lateral coming out of a structure, it would be roughly $450 in material. If it's a 6-inch sewer lateral, and that's just material, that doesn't count, install. For a 6-inch sewer lateral, it'd be roughly $800 in materials. But this is one of the type of backflow preventers that can be removed, cleaned, and then reinstalled without having to dig up the yard again. So if you want to throw in manpower and equipment, I'd say add another $1,000 to that. That's what our cost would be. Probably a little bit less than that. That'd be on the high side. But one of the things the mayor and I have talked about is whose responsibility it is. Everywhere I've ever worked, and in most places that I've talked to my peers, basically the village, the city, the sewer district takes possession of the sewer once it enters the sewer main, regardless where that's at. And the sewer lateral, which is what connects the structure to the main, is basically private, belongs to the person. Granted, with our inflow and infiltration of the storm water that we have, which is basically just storm water running off the streets, soaking into the ground, going through basically bad pipes, working its way in. Our sewer system is basically overtaxed whenever, especially when we have these big heavy rains, and basically the waste from somebody's house can't get into the pipe, or the water in the pipe wants to go somewhere, so it's going to back up into these sewer laterals.
How many residences would we even be looking at needing this?
I've been here 7 weeks, I've heard of 4 so far.
And then once 4 are done, there will be 20 more behind that.
And basically, how many structures do you have in town that's anywhere near a sanitary sewer main?
Yeah.
So it can get pretty pricey pretty fast. Now, I have heard that, basically a plumber's gonna charge about $2 grand to come out and install one of these. Is that true? I don't know, I haven't talked to any plumbers, but
We can do all this work ourselves.
we can, but
Okay.
it would be one of those things, okay, if
Gotcha.
we have to work it into a schedule.
Gotcha. So the $1,000 labor is if we hire somebody else to do it?
No,
No, that's
I'm guessing.
Oh, that's us,
I'm
okay,
guessing.
okay.
I mean, you're gonna have to have a backhoe or the mini excavator, you're gonna have to have a dump truck,
Okay.
you're gonna have to have at least 2 guys on the project.
Okay.
Sometimes these are quick to install, sometimes not much.
Gotcha.
That's a good way to look at it too. Our guys' time isn't free.
Right.
No, it's not, yeah.
No, because if they're doing this at somebody's property, that's taking them away from doing something else.
Yeah.
That is for the good of everybody. The other thing to consider is, our insurance company, and our attorney. Depending on where the sewer main's at, you might be on somebody's private property trying to install one of these. So then you run into, okay, you didn't fix my yard back the way I wanted it, I had sodded my yard, you was throwing grass seed back, so there's a lot of different things to consider.
Sounds like there's more research that's done on that.
Lyle, I know you and I've talked about this situation of groundwater being funneled into the sanitary sewer. Is some of that also homeowners issues?
Some of it is.
Decided now.
And some of it is, and I'm not throwing stones, it's just, let's face it, we're in Illinois and it's relatively flat. Water is going to follow the path of least resistance, and somebody planted a house right smack dab in the middle of it. And it might have been 50, 60, 70 years ago they did that, but every time there's development in town, or every time a curb line is changed, or every time somebody installs a new culvert, or a culvert gets plugged, you're changing the way the stormwater is gonna run. And in some cases, it makes a new path across somebody's backyard, makes a new path into somebody's crawl space or into their basement. Does that answer the question, Max? I mean, it's a touchy subject.
So we need to investigate this a little bit, we'll put it on next month's schedule.
Okay.
Next
So
month.
then my other question is, well, one of the other things the mayor and I talked about is, whatever we decide to do with this, and Jill, this would probably be a question for you. I mean, there needs to be a policy set. Would that be an ordinance? Would that be a resolution? Would that be what?
We probably have to do an ordinance. Yeah, we probably have to look at what we've got and if we have anything, and go from there. It would probably be an ordinance.
I think that we probably ought to get some, attorney guidance on that
Right.
too, as far as liability that we might be opening ourselves up to, and, that way you guys aren't getting in the middle of something you don't wanna be in.
Absolutely, and, the reason I bring that part of it up is we don't want to play favorites anymore. So, I think that's it.
Is that it? Ethan, you got it? Patty, you got anything?
Well, we're looking at ways that we can, get people back to working on the ambulance. We're averaging about 100 hours per month not getting covered because we don't have staff. The last quarter, we rolled over 113 calls because we didn't have second crews, we didn't have staff. So one of the things that we looked at was, of the 4 that left in October because of the vaccine, the coronavirus, we're thinking we can get 2 of them people back. So we're working on getting that back, but it's my understanding you no longer have to have a test or anything. So let's bring them back. Toledo, one of Toledo's volunteers is coming over and helping us on weekends, that he can only do so much there too. I would like to thank my crew because they've all put in extra hours and we're all pretty well burnt out at this point. So, all I've got to say is we're doing the best we can. Be patient with us, and I'm sorry we're not all that you think we are. Michael, Johnny, you have anything to say?
I'll start it, I'm not doing it.
Uh-oh.
This pay thing. What is the thing going on with this pay? I mean, the village employees don't work for free. I feel like maybe, I know it's the attorneys, but I feel like it was your own employees, this would have been figured out already. For somebody that is getting paid every 2 weeks.
And that's exactly the issue that's at play, is that we've got a protestation in through our attorney with the state of Illinois that you guys are not employees. So if we cut a check to you directly, we are owning that you are employees, which we don't think you are. We think you're volunteers that get a stipend for your services. and if there was still a way to do it where it wasn't going to cause us to ruin that protestation. It's not that you're not going to get paid that money, it's just that we
have an
can't do
appeal
it in
right
the
now.
middle of
I
the
understand
appeal.
that, but why can't you pay us the same like you were? Cause you're already back paying, right? You're most likely going to have to back pay.
That's why we're appealing it right now.
We were, there is no entity there as a Greenup EMS, the way you were being paid. You were being paid by a check and getting a 1099.
Yes.
That can no longer happen. That entity is, it's nothing. So Greenup EMS cannot create you a check at all anymore. So the Village of Greenup has to determine whether you are volunteers or your employees, and now we are waiting for the Illinois Department of Employment Security to tell us what they are determined you are.
So so without people getting paid, we're not gonna get the schedule covered even less now, probably. If it's gonna take even longer, there's gonna be more calls turned over, more hours not getting covered, because we're not getting this figured out then. I'm disappointed in it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I volunteer a lot of time, everybody does here. I'd rather be at home with my kids. They'll be glad if I volunteer more time at home. I just very upset and disappointed in it.
What did the attorneys say last time about the turnaround on this appeal?
I mean, there's no clue about how long, and matter of fact, it's been determined, it's been put over to another department there, and they've even made the comment that we may have a hearing on it. But I check it every day to see if I've gotten any kind of determination, and we have not.
We're waiting on the state of Illinois.
Yes,
That
exactly.
that would take forever.
If the village turns over to the ambulance service, or turns over to the fire department, will they become, will that be something that happens immediately?
That's something for the,
Because there's no money in the fire district account to make any payroll.
yeah.
You guys are gonna be taking this over for 2 years if they decide to take it
So-
on.
So,
We're gonna have to treat them
We're
as
gonna-
employees
Yeah.
if possibly. If
That's how
not,
it's
we may
determined,
have to
yeah.
apply, just like we did before, just like they did before, back in 1984 or whenever, for a tax ID to become a non-for-profit. That's what we're waiting on. Entity.
so could we file the nonprofit paperwork now for
You can,
$50?
it takes about 6 months. No, they would
You also have
have
to have a
to, we would
separate
have to
board.
turn it over, and they'd have to have their separate board,
The
they would
board
have to.
cannot have anybody that's on the village board, it has to be completely separate and no influence from us.
No, but that's-
Assign a board to do that.
That's why the fire department was our partner that we wanted to work with, because they've got the expertise and they've got the people that have.
And
the
we're
leadership.
still working hard to figure that out,
Yeah.
but on our side though, there's a lot of people, I mean, it is volunteer, we're not getting rich off this. We all have full-time jobs, but it's hard to get more people to come and work for us when you're not getting a check now,
Sure.
so.
Well, even if you went to the fire district, it would still be under, and it's just all very
Mhm.
preliminary. It would still be under another board other than the fire district board, because we'll have, that's changed now.
Yep, they've decided that if they do take it on, they will take it on,
Running it.
rather than doing a separate board.
Probably wanna keep to just answering their questions rather than speculating on what could or couldn't happen in 6 months or 2 years.
And I just think about what we're talking about here, how that would go.
I've said it before, I'll say it again, I don't do it for the money, but when I'm losing average 10 hours a week of my pay at Evapco to run ambulance calls, and then I don't get anything to make up for that, it makes it hard for me to pay the bills, especially when I'm the only one paying bills in my house.
So whatever becomes of it, whatever Illinois Department of Employment Security, whatever comes of it, either the Village of Greenup's going to have to take them on as employees, or we're gonna have to file for this other entity. Either way, one of the two is going to happen. We're just waiting to hear from the state. That's where we're at, and we can't do anything until we hear from them.
So if they tell you we're going volunteer again, Do you have to wait 6 months to start paying us again when that's is
Oh,
set
no.
up?
No,
No.
once we
I mean, just a
get,
question, I mean, when we're talking
Yeah.
about
once
paperwork
the bid
again.
is accepted, you know, if we do that, if we choose to turn it over as an EMS, like a Greenup EMS again, we would have to wait until that application is approved. And then we'd go from there, yes.
You guys got anything else?
Nah, I'm just gonna get my priorities straight, I think, so.
Patty, got anything else on that? April, you got anything?
Eileen's first.
Alan, you have anything?
No, I don't have anything.
Now, April, do you have anything?
I would like to thank our EMTs and Patty and everybody for your volunteer service. I know you take a lot of time out of away from your family, and we do appreciate it, and I would understand if you are very upset with us. I get that, I do, but thank you.
Max?
I'll just echo the same thing that, April said, with this all being stuck in with the litigation stuff with the state, our hands are tied. Right now.
Oh, you got it? Tony?
I believe Patty had something else on her, that once we do get the pay thing straightened out, that it would go to a monthly pay.
Well, I had put that on the agenda for last month and it had went into executive session. So, yeah, we were wanting to have taxes taken out. And, we was wanting to move that schedule to once a month. So that might be able to help people more.
But that still has the same issue.
It's all,
Yeah, we
it
have to
all
wait
falls
it out,
under
yeah.
the
Yeah, we
issue of
can't
the
do nothing
EMS.
until,
Yeah.
so, but that was something that had been kicked around last month too. And, John, is your light still flickering down there?
Yes.
So, and then, the light there at, Carmen, it was out again last night. And also, I've had several compliments about the village utility workers getting a lot of things done around town, and it's very noticeable. People's happy about it.
Keep going. Now, if I can fix this damn light, I'd be happy.
Both of them. My light works.
Michelle, maybe you should help him on that one.
Okay.
You done that? Justin?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you again to the fire department, for working with us, trying to find a resolution that's gonna keep an ambulance service in town. You know, like the others said, I wish there was a way that we could just cut a check tomorrow, but it's not that easy because you're dealing with the state of Illinois and you're dealing with attorneys, so. I don't think anybody doesn't wanna pay you, and I don't think anybody doesn't wanna pay you tomorrow. It's just, we have to do it the right way, so, that's all I got.
I also want to compliment, thank you guys. You all do a wonderful job, fire department, ambulance, everyone. We just hope you can stick with us through this hard time. Also, I'd like to welcome Michelle and Lyle to our community. They purchased a home, so
They're stuck with us now.
Lyle and Michelle are both stuck with us.
Don't say where it's at on camera. You don't want 100 people in your house tomorrow.
I gotta say, Lyle's done a very good job for the village.
He has a lot of good workers.
Yes.
He
Yes,
does,
he does
yes.
got a lot of good workers. And that's a combination.
We're very lucky.
We're very lucky to have the good workers and Lyle, so. I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Yes.
Tony, where's that second one at? Which one was it?
Alan?
Flickering one?
It's the,
Yes. April?
Yes.
Max?
Yes.
Justin?
Yes.
Tony?
Yes.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
it's the last light on North Delaware.
I thought it was the middle light.
No, that's the very north light